Hey, I get it, you're staring at a list of NAS boxes, wondering if you should drop a few $100s on something that might sit half empty in your closet. You're probably asking yourself whether the extra speed and the extra bays are worth the price, or if you'll end up buying a piece of hardware that never gets used. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last week setting up a Synology DS725 Plus with a pair of 4TB Ironwolf drives, and I want to walk you through what actually matters when you bring a 2-bay NAS into a home or a tiny office. First off, the biggest hesitation most people have with a 2-bay unit is the fear of being boxed in. You see a 2-bay and you think only 8 TB total. That's not enough for my growing media library. That's a valid worry, but the DS725 Plus is designed to grow. The chassis itself holds two 3.5-inch drives, but the real kicker is the DX525 expansion unit that Synology sells separately. Plug that in and you instantly jump from 2 TB to 140 TB of raw capacity, all managed from the same Diskstation Manager interface. If you're the kind of person who likes to start small and add storage as your needs expand, that scalability is where the value really shows up. Setting it up was surprisingly painless. I popped the two 4TB Ironwolfs into the drive bays, snapped the M.2 NVMe cache modules into the front panel slots, and powered the box up. The DS725 Plus boots into Synology's DSM operating system, which feels more like a desktop OS than a router interface. The first thing I did was run the quick setup wizard, which walked me through creating a storage pool, setting up RAID 1 for redundancy, and configuring the 2.5 GBE port. The 2.5 GBE connection gave me a noticeable bump when I streamed a 4K video from the NAS to my smart TV. No buffering, no hiccups, while the secondary 1 GBE port handled background backups without choking the main network. Now, let's talk about the day-to-day use cases that actually matter. For me, the biggest win has been the ability to run a personal cloud that my family can access from anywhere. I set up Synology Drive, and now my kids can pull their school projects off the NAS on a laptop at school, and I can drop a quick photo from my phone to a shared album that instantly shows up on the living room TV. Because the DS725 Plus has a quad-core Ryzen R1600, those file sync operations happen in near real time, even when multiple users are connected. Another practical scenario is using the built-in surveillance station. I added a handful of indoor cameras, and the NAS handled the 1080p streams without breaking a sweat. The M.2 NVMe slots are perfect for a cache tier that speeds up write-heavy surveillance footage, which is something you won't notice on a slower, single-core NAS. If you run a small office with a handful of security cams, that kind of reliability is a genuine time saver. On the flip side, there are a couple of trade-offs that you should be aware of before you click Add to Cart. The DS725 Plus comes with 4 GB of DDR4 RAM, which is plenty for file sharing, media streaming, and a modest number of Docker containers. However, if you plan to run several heavy Docker apps, virtual machines, or a large number of simultaneous transcode sessions, you'll start feeling the memory ceiling. Synology does let you upgrade the RAM, but that requires opening the unit and purchasing a compatible module, which adds a small extra cost and a bit of DIY work. The other limitation is the network interface. While the 2.5 GBE port is a nice step up from the typical 1 GBE you see on many entry-level NAS boxes, it still falls short of a true 10 GBE setup. If your home network already runs a 10 GBE backbone, you'll need an additional adapter or a separate network card to fully exploit that speed, and that adds another layer of expense. For most households, though, 2.5 GBE is already more than enough for 4K streaming and fast backups. So who should press the Buy Now button for the DS725 Plus? If you're a power user who wants a compact yet expandable storage hub, need reliable 4K media streaming, want to run personal cloud services, or need a solid foundation for a small office surveillance system, this is a solid fit. The ability to add an expansion unit later means you can start with just the 2 drives you need now and avoid overpaying for capacity you don't use yet. It's also a good match for creators who need fast local access to large video files without relying on external cloud services. Who should skip it? If you're just looking for a simple backup drive that you plug in once a week, a cheaper single-bay solution or a dedicated external hard drive might make more sense. Likewise, families with a massive media collection that already exceed 8 terabytes